Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Welcome. So nice to see you all. We'll do some singing to get us into the Shabbat mood before we begin at 6:15. We're so happy to see all of you. Welcome. Thought we would begin with a nigun, melody with no words, and that way we can all join together. So we'll do it a few times through, and if you're familiar with it, I hope that you'll join with us. Ya la la la. Take a deep breath in. Just let Shabbat arrive. Let Shabbat approach and soak in the Shabbat energy. Perhaps we can imagine that as the sun sets and that shadow passes over our land and our city, our neighborhoods, that is the Shabbat spirit entering. That is how the ancient mystics would understand Shabbat, as if it were this presence that were unavoidable, that Shabbat happened to us, that it wasn't even something that we had to make. That's why they went outside to dance, because they recognized that their job and our job was just simply to welcome Shabbat. Kabbalat Shabbat, in fact, means to welcome, to dance and sing in front of Shabbat as she enters. So I hope that you will join with me, welcoming Shabbat. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arise in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Eternity utters a day. Ya la la. Silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Eternity utters a day. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, Shabbat arrives. Shabbat Shalom to all of you, especially if you've just joined us. We're just singing for a few minutes before we get to 6:15. The High Holy Days are rapidly approaching. I hope that many of you have received a beautiful packet of information in the mail. I hope that you received, well, it's coming. It's coming, Joanne, if you have not received yet. And I hope that when you get it, it has 2 beautiful, intact honey sticks as gifts from us to you. If they happen to be exploded honey sticks, we sincerely apologize, but we just could not contain our sweetness of the new year. And there are others available. So if you just let us know, we will send you a new packet. And we will deliver honey sticks as well. I am not above delivering honey sticks because it is our fervent desire for you to feel connected to us, for all of us to feel connected by the sweetness of this new year. We are very excited about services coming up as well. We're working hard to create something really, really special and really beautiful. So let's do maybe one more song before we begin. 6:15. Shabbat Shalom to you. I actually think maybe we'll do another nigun. It's the melody without words, just to get ourselves in the mood for Shabbat and the music that's to follow. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. As always, it is such a privilege and a pleasure to be joined tonight by our wonderful staff and clergy team. I think we're all here, actually. Dan Cillian is here directing our staff and helping to keep things in order. And Stephanie and Matt and Kendra are all here. And I also see Rabbi Roxanne, Rabbi Jordana, and Cantor Aviva all ready to celebrate Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom to all of you, and especially Rabbi Roxanne Shapiro, who's going to take the lead for us tonight. So looking forward to this. Shabbat Shalom to you, Roxanne.
Shabbat Shalom. We are honored that you all have joined us here as we welcome in Shabbat, and I'm grateful to be here with my fellow clergy, our team of incredible staff members who are making sure that everything works in the logistical part. For those of you who haven't led a Zoom meeting, there's so much that goes into making sure that happens and so that we don't notice it. So I want to thank them. And also thank all of you for joining us. There are probably many other things you could be doing tonight, maybe not lots of other places to go, but many things you could be doing, and we're glad that you're here to join our community. Shabbat offers us an ideal day of rest. It's a gift for us, a day that we can put the mundane matters aside and just seek peace and wholeness. While we know that that pursuit of the ideal isn't always what happens, let us at least take this hour as a respite. Gathering in our own spaces can make us feel that it's a little hard to find community. It is more challenging, but it's not absent. We encourage you to take time to flip through the gallery of people who have joined us. Click on someone and wish them a Shabbat Shalom, especially if you haven't seen or talked to them in a long time. Sing out at the top of your lungs, especially if you're on mute, then no one cares what your voice sounds like. And also allow yourself to be lost in the melody. Even if you just sit back and listen, allow yourself that opportunity. And allow yourself to feel our community. Even if it's just everyone through a screen, feel that presence as if everyone could physically all be together. We are here together in worship. Now, tonight marks 2 weeks. Yes, I said it, 2 weeks until Rosh Hashanah begins. But along with that new time, this Shabbat also marks a new time for Caitlin Foldman and her family. As this Shabbat will come to a close tomorrow afternoon, Caitlin will take her place as a bat mitzvah in our community. We wish her and her family mazel throughout this Shabbat and throughout her life as a young Jewish adult in our community. We as a congregational family celebrate with you, Caitlin, and we're honored to have you and your parents, Debbie and Matt, and your brother, Jacob, lead us in our Shabbat candle blessing and our Kiddush. So, Caitlin, I saw your name pop in. Say hello, and then we can find you. There they are. Wonderful. So good to have you. Thank you for joining us, and mazel tov to you, Caitlin. So we're going to unmute you, and you may begin with a candle blessing. If you at home have candles, please feel free to join us in the candle lighting.
You guys ready? Go ahead. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner no shel Shabbat. Amen.
Should I do the line? What do we do?
I don't think I hear you.
Should we do the Kiddush?
We are going to turn now to the Kiddush. So if you have any wine or juice with you, we invite you to join Kate and her family in this moment.
Sorry. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kadsho b'ahava u'ratzon inhilanu zikaron ma'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah Michael Kodesh Zeher Tziyah Mitzrayim Kivanu V'harta V'yotanu Kidasha Mikol Ha'amim V'shabbat Kodesh B'ahava Uvratzon Hin Haltanu,
Baruch
Baruch
atah
Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim, l'chaim, and thank you. Thank you for your willingness to lead that. Kate, we are so excited to celebrate with you and your family tomorrow. Everyone should know that we have a very special 4 p.m. Havdalah Bat Mitzvah service tomorrow that you are invited to join us on Zoom for. Kate, as you know, and I want to make sure your community knows that you have been waiting for this day and to share all of your preparation with your community for quite some time. The story of the Jewish people is a story of resilience, and you and your classmates are no exception to the resilience that has gone into navigating what it is to become bat mitzvah through a pandemic. So we are incredibly grateful to you, and I know that it would have been lovely to stand right beside you on the bima and chant these brachot with you, but you did beautifully, and you will do beautifully tomorrow. So mazal tov to you and your whole family, and we sincerely hope the rest of the community you will plan on joining us tomorrow. We look forward to hearing you read Torah. We turn now to our Kabbalat Shabbat service, which of course is our warm-up. Our ancestors believed that we needed to warm up our souls with song in order to get ready to pray, and I could not agree more. Please do join me from where you are. And as Rabbi Roxanne so beautifully shared, sing at the top of your lungs. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot ladonai. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot ladonai. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. צדיק אתה אמר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בשיבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו. להגיד כי השער אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו.
Beautiful. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. A joy as always to be able to celebrate Shabbat with you. So when I was in my first year of rabbinic school in Israel, the Reform movement was developing the Mishkan Tefillah, their prayer book, which we use on Friday nights. They gave it to different congregations to try it out and to give them feedback about it. And they also printed a very special edition for us to use as students in Israel. Now, this prayer book was beautiful and very similar to the final draft, which we now use. The problem with this prayer book was that it was just a draft and there were some mistakes in it and some typos. So the biggest typo in this prayer book occurred in the prayer, the Shema, because in this version of the Shema, they omitted the word echad, or one. So just picture this for a second. All of us, all of the rabbinic education and cantorial students that year, people who were at HUC dedicating their lives to the Jewish people, were using this prayer book, using the Shema without the word echad. Of all of the prayers to make mistakes, of all of the words to admit, this was a pretty big one. All of us joked that it became kind of like a fill in the blank. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is. And then you decide. But the word echad has been central to who we are as Jews now, and has been for a very long time. So when we were in school, we each found our own way to think about the word echad and what it really means to us. So through this process, it actually helped deepen our connection with this prayer and the word echad. So I invite us now to continue with the Shema, with the correct version, including the word echad, and for us each to think about what that word echad means to us.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohim Emet.
So today, I was able to accomplish something that made me want to dance with joy. You might have noticed that I am a genuinely pretty happy person, but today was especially joyous for me to be able to get this task completed. So after 2 unsuccessful attempts and an unexpected permit test, I was able to get my Indiana state driver's license. Very, very exciting. And it is not an exaggeration to say that I felt overwhelming joy when this process was completed, and I finally could take the temporary license home with me in my possession. I, however, was not able to register my car, but that joy will come another day. So though not nearly as dramatic or as life-changing, this joy that I genuinely felt today really did remind me of the joy that the Israelites felt as they were crossing the Red Sea. They still had a journey ahead of them, as do I, but they celebrated their accomplishment along the way. So I hope that in this past week, something brought you joy. I hope there was a moment for you when you really felt like dancing. And even if you did not achieve all of your goals, I hope you were able to celebrate some small victories in the process. So with these joys and experiences in mind, let us continue with the Mi Hamocha.
Let's try all of that together.
Of the myriad of things that we ask God for in 6 of the 7 days of the week, it is said and decided that on Shabbat we do not ask for anything other than healing for those whom we love. And yet, when we look at the Hashkivenu, we see that we do ask God for a Sukkat Shalom, just a sukkah of peace, a canopy of peace to be draped over us and over the world. And in this moment, as we navigate through this unprecedented world together, we also ask God to guide our steps. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. And help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Lovely. So, as Rabbi Roxanne reminded us, we are only 2 very short weeks away from Rosh Hashanah. And I am reminded of this every time I see the beautiful and almost full moon. When I look up at it, I am not only struck by its beauty, but I also feel the ever-present and ever-increasing drum beats in my head of the closeness of the High Holy Days. We are now deep in the month of Elul, our time of introspection, of reflection, and hopefully of connection with others. Each day during the month of Elul, reflections by rabbis, scholars, and others are posted as part of the Jewels of Elul. I want to share with you now one of my very favorites, which was written by Rabbi Sharon Brous, the senior rabbi of Ikar, a very unique congregation in Los Angeles. Rabbi Brous writes, I was young and earnest with a dream summer internship at the Justice Department. living in dorms crowded with college students, obviously pre-COVID, from around the country. My roommate was coming a week late and I anxiously awaited her arrival. I was certain that we'd be best friends forever. So way too early one morning, there was a knock on my door. "Hi, I'm your roommate," she said coldly, pushing past me. "So happy to finally meet you," I said. "Where are you working this summer?" No answer. "Have you lived in DC before?" Still no answer. "There's some great people on our floor and I'd love to introduce you." She wouldn't even make eye contact with me. My face started to burn and I turned and walked out of the room, embarrassed at what an easy cry I was. I called my folks, convinced that this was going to be the worst summer of my life. Should I try to switch rooms, get an apartment, pack up, and just go back to New York? I avoided the dorm room until late that night. When I finally returned, I was relieved to see that the lights were out and my roommate was sound asleep. I tiptoed in and I noticed on my pillow there was a note which said, "I am so sorry that we didn't have a time to connect today. My name is Kathy and I'm working on the Hill. I just wanted to let you know that I'm deaf. So if I'm not looking directly at you, I don't know that you are talking to me. Sorry, should have mentioned that this morning. It's always awkward when I meet new people. By the way, I saw that you're reading Invisible Man. That's my favorite book. Can't wait to get to know you this summer. Al hein shehatani lefanecha, for the sin that I committed before you by making assumptions about your people. Please forgive me." So perhaps you've had experiences like the one that Rabbi Brous described. I invite you now to take a few moments of silent prayer to think about the times that you have wanted to ask forgiveness for assumptions that we have all made about other people. We continue now with private, personal, silent reflection.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Grant abundant peace over Israel, your people, and over our world forever, for you are the source of peace, And so it has been good in your eyes to bless us in every season and in every hour with peace, perhaps often when we have least expected it. In troubling times, bless us with peace, with wholeness, with friendship, with shalom. Blessed are you, O God, who blesses the entire world with peace. Amen. Of course, we pause in our service each and every week to remember that there are many here who are not only suffering with the more common afflictions these days of isolation, of feeling alone, of feeling uncertain about the future, that there are plenty here who are also suffering with illness, physical illness, sickness of heart, sickness of mind. We would like to offer a prayer for all of them. And we'll mention the names of those who you'd like to add to the chat, as well as our own members of our congregational family. I'd like to offer them what prayers we can, prayers of healing, prayers of strength, prayers of peace. On this Shabbat, we especially keep in our minds Esther Fishman, Janet Strasberg, Rabbi Ben Kamen, Nancy Bonham, Lenny Rubenstein, Catherine Soskin, as well as those who we have now placed in the chat. Naomi Kaufman, Nancy Cushman, Sonia Hess, Debbie Manica, Gary Harrell, Dennis Gelbart, Jillian Scott and family, Joanna Sloan, Jillian Scott again and Templeton family, Kim Rexroth, Nancy Bonham, Megan from Cheryl, Shelley Sachs, Rich Frankel, Nicole Keith, Peggy Neal, Deb Godwin, Wendy Barish, Angus Budeman, Gerda Krudebash, Mike, Zach, and Greta Berman, Harvey Katz, Andy Weidekamp, Javi Lev Goldstein on her second birthday, Shelley Idis, I hope that I'm pronouncing these correctly, Irina Dolgina. May we offer them all of the prayers we can from where we are as we think about them and concentrate on their well-being.
Rafa'inu Adonai v'ner hafeh Hoshienu v'ni v'sheya El karov l'chol korav Ach karov l'reyav isha We pray for the healing of the body. We pray for the healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. El Narafana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shalema. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
Thank you, Cantor Aviva. May these prayers of our heart and soul be heard, and may we be able to receive comfort not only from God, but from one another. And so continuing with our clergies, having these 4 weeks of the month of Elul leading up to talking about Rosh Hashanah and this path towards Rosh Hashanah, tonight I want to talk about another part, and we will learn in this about Psalm 27, which is a psalm that we traditionally read during the month of Elul. Now, I'd like to know and want to see some of the faces for reaction. Do any of you remember really long car rides as a child? Now, I'm not talking about the younger folks here who might have had a device or a DVD player. I'm talking about those really long car rides before all of those things existed, when one would just stare out the window endlessly. Maybe you played I Spy with My Little Eye or the license plate game, but you stared out the window a lot. I remember sitting in the station wagon. Yes, a station wagon. And for those of you who are at the age that you don't know what a station wagon was, think about a minivan, that length, but then squish it down to regular car height. And it had a huge trunk that you would open up, a huge door. So if you remember that, those station wagon rides, that's what I remember. We would be driving along and I would look out the window and I would spot a particular type of object, a building far, far away. And I would watch it as I got closer and closer, thinking, is it that? Is it that? And it would be. And then my mind would just wander, what's going on inside that place? Now, soon enough, we would pass it and it would be a blur, and I would wait to look at the next particular type of place. While my days staring out the car window are pretty much non-existent, my interest in these types of places still exist. Now it's usually the fact that I'm driving and try to take a quick glimpse as I drive right past. But I still wonder, I still stare, and I still think. I have a bit of an obsession. In fact, I must admit that I fell in love with the house that we have here simply because of the view. And the view that I see, that I fell in love with, is of a Greek Orthodox church across the street. Now, it's any religious space that catches my eye, and it sends my mind with intense curiosity, wondering what the beauty is inside, what's happening inside. And I didn't know the term for what I had until I read Barbara Brown Taylor's book, Holy Envy. Holy envy is what I have. Now, this isn't a desire to have the particular building or to be the particular faith, but it's really this deep fascination with the beauty encapsulated inside, physically and spiritually. In fact, long before Barbara Brown Taylor wrote this book, our psalmist, this one in particular attributed to King David, recognized that longing for sacred spaces. In Psalm 27, the psalm I mentioned that we traditionally read during the month of Elul, one of the lines is this: "One thing I ask of Adonai, only that do I seek, to live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai, to frequent God's sanctuary." Psalm 27 is rich in meaning and content, and I encourage each of you to explore it further. But this evening, I want to focus on this particular verse. What does it mean for us that we could live in the house of God all our days? Would we want to? Before this time of COVID, your clergy and staff were working in the house of God the majority of our days. And I have been told that we once had a maintenance person who lived on site. But does this really imply that we should want to live in God's sanctuary all the time? Our sages clarified this and had a different meaning. Since even the high priest and the Levites did not live in the Mishkan, the tabernacle in the desert, nor in the temple which stood in Jerusalem. But what does this mean for us collectively as Reformed Jews? And all the more relevant, what does it mean for us When we enter the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe this year, unable to frequent what we consider to be one of God's sanctuaries, our spiritual home located at IHC. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, writing in Germany in the 1800s, wrote that the psalm does not intend that we should literally dwell in the house of God all the days of our lives. Rather, he states, if we work to make our lives holy, if we sanctify them, then every place can become a house of God. Imagine that. We can create a mikdash ma'at, a small sanctuary, by our own deeds, in our own spaces. The ancient rabbis came up with this concept of the mikdash ma'at after the second temple in Jerusalem was destroyed. After the first destruction, as devastating as it was, they were soon able to rebuild. Yet after the second destruction in 70 CE, it was clear that any return to Jerusalem, let alone a rebuild, was not going to happen in the foreseeable future. So what were a people whose ritual lives were centered around the temple? What were they to do? The rabbis of that time charted a change of course. While the tradition of sacrifice could no longer be carried out with the temple not standing, the rabbis soon declared that God wanted the prayers of our hearts and our lips. These were the new sacrifices. We would build structures as houses of gathering for meetings and prayers, and these were to be called synagogues. And also another holy space was to be created in each of our homes, our own mikdash ma'at, our own small sanctuary. So as we enter these high holy days with the realization that our high holy day experience will be different, this does not imply that it will be less. This, in part, is up to us to determine. How will you create this sense of holiness in your own home? I've seen many of you do this for Shabbat. You gather as a family on the couch or around a table. Some of you have Shabbat candles to light or wine to bless. Some get dressed up, and some get as comfortable as possible. Some take the time to enjoy the outdoors. Sitting in my COVID-created office, I unfortunately discovered that candle lighting led to the fire alarm going off, or the smoke alarm, so I decided to make a different change for Shabbat. I have 2 sets of curtains hanging here. Purple is for Shabbat, and blue is for the rest of the week. It's a slight change, but it does help to enhance my Shabbat experience and note the change between the mundane and the sacred. So what can we do for the high holy days? Decorate with pomegranates or apples, pull out a tablecloth and set the table for a nice dinner, even if it's dinner for one. We do these things for other holidays in our homes. Consider Passover or Hanukkah. These are our home-based holidays. And yes, we are used to having Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur at the synagogue, but you may already have some other traditions that could be reworked for your home celebrations and observances. What can you keep? What can you revive from your childhood or from your grandparents? What brings meaning to you? The days of getting a new outfit or a new hat for Rosh Hashanah may be passé, but if it brings you joy, why not? Or get a new challah plate or an apple and honey dish. Did you know that the Sisterhood gift shop has concierge shopping? And while I'm advertising, don't forget to order your round chalot, the challahs, for either Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur from the preschool. Make sure you sign up to borrow a High Holy Day prayer book from IHC too. Lots of opportunities are out there, just check the website. But in reality, Put on the kippah that you may only wear at special times. Add your talit that you may have not worn since your bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. Or perhaps this is the year to build a sukkah at your home. There are so many different options, and you are the best judge of what will set the atmosphere for you. Your IHC High Holy Day booklet offers some suggestions as well of how to make a midash me'at. So while this is new for all of us, it's not a new concept for our ancestors. They too had to adapt and change as new realities were presented. They still longed for the temple to be rebuilt in Jerusalem, just as we still long for our spiritual home at IHC. Our tradition tells us that our homes can be just as sacred as those spaces we call a sanctuary. While we will wait patiently for the time when we can be together in our sacred spaces at IHC, we can still be together this year as an IHC community in the holy spaces we create in our own homes. By our actions and by our attitudes, we can make our own mikdash ma'at as simply as Rabbi Hirsch suggested, by working to make our lives holy and bringing that sanctity into our homes. Now, I suspect that I will always look at the grand religious buildings that I pass on the road or even view from my front window with a sense of holy envy, continuously curious about the beauty and the rituals inside. But in addition, I will remind myself as I pass by apartments and houses that there could be a small sanctuary inside those as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Shapiro. Thank you so much. We'll give you some warmth, and that's the international symbol for the mute affection. So thank you very much for reminding us of these words. Not only that we create Mikdash Me'at for the High Holy Days, but each and every Shabbat. It is really, I was looking through the gallery view as you were speaking, and really focusing in on the blend of colors and the faces, and realizing that for me, you all are my Mikdash Ma'at. It's really become such a pleasure to see all of you here on Friday nights. So thank you for that. I do want to just mention a couple of things, although thank you, Rabbi Roxanne, for sharing a few of the announcements about Challah and the opportunity to get a Machzor, a High Holiday Prayer Book, at your home. So we will we'll have lots more information about how that all works on the website. I just want to say, my favorite page of the really beautiful High Holiday mailer talks about all of the guest artists that we're going to be hosting during the High Holidays. Cantor Aviva has been working hard for months now to work out arrangements with many of the most well-known Jewish artists out there, and they're all coming to visit us online. And it's going to start actually with Slichot. If you're not familiar with that, it is the Saturday night before the holidays begin, and it's a late night service. I think ours is at 8 or 9 o'clock. It's not terribly late. But it is a little bit later, and we are going to be hosting Nefesh Mountain. So some of you may have had the opportunity to see them a few years ago when they came to Indianapolis, but they've created a really special program with our clergy for Slichot. It'll be just the right amount of inspirational music. It'll give us a chance to see the sanctuary, to change the Torah mantles into the white robes, to really get ourselves in the mood. So I hope that you will join us for that. Again, all the information is on our website. We hope that the technology will work well for us, and we look forward to seeing you all there. Mazel tov to Caitlin and her family, to the Fulman family. Thank you so much for getting our Shabbat started with candles and Kiddush tonight. It was such a pleasure. We look forward to tomorrow. And Caitlin, you have worked so hard for this. We're really excited to see you celebrate tomorrow with your family and friends. So Mazel Tov to you. I should mention that on behalf of the brotherhood and sisterhood of the congregation, there is a gift. There's also a gift coming to you from the clergy team. And we all want you to know that we're celebrating with you. And I think another one actually from the Jewish Federation of Greater Indianapolis. So lots of gifts that we'll have to drop off at your home, and a certificate too. So lots of fun, and congratulations to you on that. We are going to conclude our service as we always do with a moment of remembrance, an opportunity to acknowledge those in our midst tonight who are in the process of grieving, those who we have lost in recent days, and of course those who we remember at this season from years past. Please do feel free to use the chat again if there are names that you'd like us to mention before we then join the Kaddish together. Our congregation is remembering Dorothy Strader, who was taken from us during the past week, as well as Natalie Reed, who was taken from our congregational family in the past 30 days, whose family is in Shloshim. We also remember those whose yahrzeits occur this week, the anniversary of their passing. We remember Joseph Barrett, Al Booth, Gertrude Breitbart, Carolyn Brinkley, Bessie Burek, Albert Calderon, Susan Cohen, Robert Cohen, Mildred Muncie Cohen, Zena Davis, Esther Fairbanks, Benjamin Finkel, Evelyn Fuldauer, Fred Gerber, William Gitlin, Jacob Goldman, Margot Gottsman, Molly Gutman, Sam Halpern, Inga Hauschild, Samuel Henry, Sidney Herman, Larry Horberg, Matilda Hurwitz, Hy Jacobs, Charles Kahn, Mildred Kaufman, Albert Kleinman, Lottie LaBounty, Sylvia Layden, Katie Lazaroff, Beryl Leonards, Mona Levy, Marks Levy, Louise Litwack, Gloria Lutz, Max Mandel, Henry Mayer, Bertha Mayer, Jean McCann, Helen Provisor, Milton Rapkin, Lawrence Ress, Selma Rice, Gus Rosen, Francis Rothschild, Louis Schwartz, Harry Seelig, Arthur Shapiro, Kenneth Siegel, Nathan Solomon, Esther Vernick, Stephen Vogel, Gita Weinberger, Stella Winkleman, Florence Winter, as well as those who we've mentioned in the chat: Ed Patterson, Dick Sachs, Joel Sherman Morse, Dick Scherader, Yevgeny Dolgin, Jeff Lilly, and Betty Cohen. Lauren Roth is reminding us that next month will be 2 years since her grandpa's passing. We will make sure to honor him at that point, and we're thinking of your family now as well. We say these words, Zichronam Livracha. May their memory always be for our blessing. I see the name of Betty Cohen there as well. We join together the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, Shmei Dekutsha B'richu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. We add to this blessing for peace for our people, a blessing of peace for all people who dwell on earth, with the words V'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. We say once again together, Amen. Amen. Before we conclude our service, it has been such a pleasure to welcome our Baalat Tekiah, Patty Freeman Dorson, representing our congregation and our country, by the way, in the Union for Reform Judaism's board. We are so pleased that she is there, putting in good words for Indianapolis there, and helping us do the work of the Reform movement, and that she has agreed to offer the sounds of the shofar for every Shabbat during the month of Elul. Patty, Shabbat Shalom to you and Roland and your family.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom to you and everyone.
Thank you so much for being here, and we'll do the calls and experience a moment of anticipation of the High Holy Day. So I invite you to try to take this in. It's not the same as hearing it in person, I know, but maybe if you turn the volume up, we can really feel that reverberation of the shofar. If you're ready. Tekiah. Shavarim Trua. Yagadola. Mazel Tov, Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Patty, and thank you so much. Just amazing and so beautiful. If you did receive your High Holy Day packet, if you haven't, it's coming. But if you did, you will notice that we do have an opportunity for you to hear the shofar in person. So be sure to take a look at that. We are going to close our services this evening with what I would call an oldie but a goodie. It is an Oseh Shalom that hopefully everybody knows. So please do join me. Oseh Shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, clap, clap. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, clap, clap. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yay! I know.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I know that Rabbi Brett, you have a little one who's a little bit bigger than this, and that she made a beautiful challah. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
She may make an appearance. Yeah, we'll see. Hello, Sophia. Shabbat Shalom to you. It's wonderful to see you. Can you say Shabbat Shalom yet? Yeah, she's working on it. We do have a challah here for you. And if you have a challah, please bring it out. And we'd love to bless this with you. Hi, Sierra. Shabbat Shalom to you. So yes, this is, I believe, cinnamon sugar challah that we made. Yeah. I think so. It might be chocolate chip. All right, let's put a hand on the challah. And listen, my friends, I know that this is a difficult time. It's a difficult time in our congregation. We are feeling alone, and it is difficult to feel connected over the miles. But it warms my heart so much to see you all on Shabbat, to study together during the week, and to even spot a few of you on our long walks around the neighborhood. So please know that we're here. We'd love to talk to you, and let's make sure that one another feels connected, especially as we enter the high holiday season. So I'll put our hand on the challah, and we'll bless our beautiful children. Ready, Sarah? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. You want to tear off a little bit there? All right, we'll tear off a little bit in a moment. Shabbat shalom to you. Got to see if this is cinnamon sugar or chocolate chip, but we're going to go ahead and unmute everyone, and so that we can wish one another a Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
I love this service. Hi, Mary.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi.
Good Shabbat.
There we go.
Good Shabbat.
That's how you say Shabbat shalom.
Yeah.
Shabbat shalom. It's so
Shabbat
good to
shalom.
Hi, shalom.
Good to see everyone.
Good Shabbat.
Shalom. Good Shabbat.
Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat.
Shalom, Randy.
Shabbat shalom.
The Roth family.
Everybody get saved. Be well.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, Wendell.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Gary.
Bye, Julia. Love you.
Mazel tov to Kate.
Mazel tov, Kate. Shabbat shalom, Ruth. I see you.
Larry, hello Larry. Golf it, Larry.
Julia, I love R2D2.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom, Warts crew.
All right, everyone, take care. Have a
All
wonderful
right,
Shabbat.
bye now.
Wonderful
Shalom.
Shabbat.
Right, so.
Shalom.
Oh.